Welcome to the double feature of Smackdown and Rampage. Once again, we got another Smackdown and Rampage double feature. You will be doing Rampage first. Not a lot here to talk about, but I am going to say how I feel about this. Guys, let me ask you a question. How many times have you seen Jon Moxley bleed now? Because we get this match with him with Sammy, and it's like every week he's bleeding. Now, I'm not squeamish to blood when it comes to wrestling. I'm just not. I have no problem with it. And I gotta say, I don't know how everyone else is gonna feel about seeing Sammy look like he's biting at Moxley's ear because it was his left ear he was bleeding from. And he had some of that blood on his chin, on his face, his chest, and his tongue. And then kisses Ty Mello, who herself attacks a little bit of Moxley in the face, has blood on her hands. They both come together and they both kiss. Now, mind you, I'm not squeamish to blood, but I am thinking it like this. There is times when blood in a match is very important to make it mean something. And there are times when blood is used so much that it becomes irrelevant. Now, either there's one or two reasons why there's so much blood. One, Mox wants to make this mean absolutely important every match he does. But I don't agree with it because he's bleeding too much. Like I've been saying, he's overexposed and now he's trying to compensate for that. For almost every match he does, he's been bleeding. Now, is either accidental bleeding or purposely bleeding. It don't make a difference. That's all we see from him now. And I think that's hurting his performance. Now, here's the other thing. And tell me below, do you actually think what we saw with Ty Mello and Sammy Guevara kissing while there was blood not only on his face of Sammy from Moxley, but on his tongue, and they're kissing one another, do you think that's gross, nasty, or do you think that's good TV? Mind you, you don't see that often. Very rarely you see actually someone else get hurt in the ring. They have blood on their face, have a partner who's actually their girlfriend or wife in his case, and they kiss with blood on the lips and on the tongue from somebody else that is not from either one of them. That takes a lot to handle. I will say that, but I don't know if anyone else will agree or disagree. Tell me below. Now, Moxley did make him pass out, so that's it. Second match, which is not even a match. Sky Blue versus Britt Baker. That wasn't even a match. That wasn't. That was about Sheeta coming out facing a Jamie Hayter. That's all this was about. Because right now, and I'm fine with it, Britt is not the focus. It's Jamie Hayter. But then, what are you doing with Sky Blue? And I know I saw the baddies. I know I saw Erla Grey. I believe that's her name. And I saw Red Velvet, who still has an attitude. And I'm thinking, really? You're going to go back to the Red Velvet having an attitude with the baddie of the baddest of a Jade Cargill? Really? This is stupid. I don't care what anybody else says. Me personally, I don't want to see Red Velvet deal with a Jade Cargill. I don't care Bow Wow. I believe his name. I believe it's Bow Wow. I've never really been up and really interested in rappers much. Very rare. But essentially, the guy that's been messing with her, it would be typical that he's going to use Red Velvet and not Kiera Hogan. And if he doesn't, and you still keep having this attitude from Red Velvet to Jade, eventually, what is Jade going to do? Jade's going to be the good guy in this because Red Velvet is going to turn on her. So you want to see a good Jade Cargill, maybe good, dealing with a Red Velvet again? I don't want to see it again. I don't. I was supposed to see, and I'm trying to make this short as I can, I was supposed to see a Kiera Hogan get somewhere in the baddies. I was supposed to see a Red Velvet get somewhere in the baddies. What did I see? None of it. Not even Erla Grey, and I believe that's her name. She's not even getting anything out of this. This is still about Jade, and we had 3 women that should have something. One of them got hurt, yes, and then they brought in Kiera Hogan, who now is gone and is not doing anything. I'm just saying. I'm done. The next match, Warlow versus what was it? Exodus Prime. I believe his name was Exodus Prime. I You need to know about me that I love Optimus. He's one of my all-time favorite heroes in history for me. He means a lot to me. See him like a dad. And you give me Exodus Prime, who basically jobbed his lily-livered ass off, flipping himself backward with his neck like he got paralyzed like a brick and flips back. I will give it to him, but I wish it wasn't Exodus Prime. Prime is an important name. Prime. I don't like someone else having that name, particularly jobbing their ass off like that. That was a very good job, but still, this wasn't even about him. This was about Warlord demanding Joe, and Joe saying on the 28th, I believe, I will give you your shot because I'm not doing it here. It ain't happening in Chicago. It's happening where I want it, and it will be in Colorado. Okay. Shame in Las Vegas. I'm just saying. Okay. Last match. We got Best Friends and Dustin Rhodes versus guys who can't get a break. Trent Seven and Kip Sabian. And that is Butcher. You know what I've said about the Butcher and Blade over the last 3 years. They bring in two guys that legitimately look like badasses and you see them getting angry. You guys tell me below. Have you ever seen the Butcher and the Blade win a legitimate match on Dynamite or Rampage without either outside interference or being in a 6 or 8 or 10-way match? Tell me below if you've seen it. Because when it comes to Butcher and Blade, I have never seen them win. Ever seen them win in an actual tag match that didn't have to be in someone else's storyline. It has always been about them jobbing. And I'm going like, these guys, I know when it comes to Blade, because Braxton Sutter, when he was in Impact, he was impressive. I liked him, legitimately. But when you see him now with Butcher, they're joke. They can't get the damn job done. Maybe they'll get it done on Dark or Dark Elevation, but never on Dynamite, never on Rampage. They're nothing but freaking jobbers who look like they shouldn't be. I'm just saying. And I will say it was funny seeing that near the end of the match when Penelope Forbes, when a bunny who both dressed the same and looked cute as hell, both were in the ring and looked like they were going to do something. Well, Bunny looked like she was going to do something to a Orange Cassidy. He faked like he got nut shotted. And then Danhausen did the same thing. And the ref basically said, what? Both of you did this? What? You're out. And they both got pissed. I'm fine with it. I'm not saying the match was perfect. It wasn't. But still, it was all right. The most impressive person there was Trent Seven. I'm not saying he's the most greatest wrestler, but he was very impressive for me personally. And the Faces won. I'm not surprised. They're still in Texas, where you're going to get Dustin winning. This is leading to the end of the year. I don't know if it's going to really give us anything, but this is what we have. And yes, I am leaving out the part about Moxley. Yes, I know I haven't said anything about Moxley fighting with Paige. I'm waiting to see if there's going to be a stipulation. There's going to have to be a lights out match. That's what's going to happen. It has to be a lights out match. I'm just saying, let's move on to Smackdown and let's get this over with quickly, because even though it was quite important, most of the stuff here, I just don't want to talk much about it, particularly that one thing was beyond stupid. Now, let's go to the first match, which I'm going like, really? Tegan Nox and the Lib. I know everyone wants to be married to Morgan. And we get Damage Control, who cannot win a damn match until this one. They won this match. And it's mostly due to the fact that Liv Morgan just didn't give a damn anymore, and she's acting crazy, and it's Tegan trying to keep her under control. And then I think who was it? Xia Li, I believe, was the one who came from the crowd and attacked Tegan, who lost that way. I think. Personally, don't really care. They haven't given me any real reason to care about damage control. Only thing they've done for weeks upon months is job. Yes, they won. They kept their titles, but it doesn't mean anything. Now, the match that was the best match of the night, and that was the IC title match between Gunther and... I'm going to tell you this. Have I ever been a Ricochet fan? When he went up against Ospreay, when he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Will Ospreay and him did a great match. Yes, he broke the scale of Mercer. I really didn't care that much about the rating system that he does. But he did a great match there. It felt more natural. But for over the last few years, everything he's done has felt unnatural. It felt empty. Now, lately, in the last couple of months, it's been better for him because they actually allowed him to really give not only some level of character with better music, but let him do the way he really does his wrestling. Now, the vid packs they both had were good. I didn't have a problem with them. So leading into this match, I was interested. I kind of wish it was at a pay-per-view, to be honest. The first pay-per-view of the year, I kind of wish it would be there. Wouldn't it be better to have this at Royal Rumble? What, we got 3 weeks away? Maybe? 3.5 weeks? Wouldn't it, or 4 weeks? Wouldn't it be better to build this going into Royal Rumble? Give Gunther and the Ricochet an actual payout at a pay-per-view? But no. It is on this SmackDown. They want to make it clear that SmackDown is the place to be. And with the new music and the way that the intro looks, it does feel more legitimate than Raw. I'm not lying. That's one of the reasons why I don't do Raw. So, we got a good match out of it. And in the end, I didn't expect Gunther to lose. There's no way that he was going to win. No way that Ricochet was going to win. But did I believe he looked good enough that he could win? Yeah. Even though I'm not a high-flying fan, doesn't mean I can't appreciate the work he put in trying to make it mean something. Admittedly, he is still almost a typical high flyer, that he doesn't understand when to wait a little bit after he does his moves to let the people there really soak it in. But was it? Wait a minute. I think I made a mistake. They were not at... Did I say Chicago at Rampage? I apologize. I'm sorry. It was Texas. Here's Chicago. But I'm just saying, this is just how I feel. And then you got Braun Strowman saving him. And now we may have a match somewhere on the 28th or the 30th maybe? Or the 28th? I can't remember when. Let's move on. Next, we have a... Maybe I should wait a little bit. I should wait before I talk about this. Let me give it to you like this. The LA Knight segment. I've already said I'm not happy about this when it comes to LA Knight. I'm not. Because I truly, truly believe this won't be about him. It hurts me to think that Bray Wyatt, who's needing to be built back up after being gone for so many months, that his gimmick was destroyed. I don't want to sacrifice someone like an LA Knight. Now, many people say, this is great for LA Knight. He's now working with one of the most hottest people, and he is. And I'm not taking anything from it. But I don't know what he's going to gain from this after it's over. Because, understand guys, as I've always said, this is about making you meaningful. Making you mean something. Having relevance. And I'm wondering what the relevance will be for LA Knight. I'm worried that once this is done, LA Knight will not have something good for himself. Yes, he's working with the hottest guy there that people are still cheering, going crazy for. But I just don't know where it's going to lead. Now, was the segment in the ring good? It was fine. He got sick and tired of getting his ass whooped. This isn't about if he's a good guy or bad guy. He is being attacked by someone from Bray Wyatt. Or is being attacked by Bray Wyatt. That's what we thought. And he's calling out Bray Wyatt, who comes out. Everyone is cheering for him. He says, brother, I am not the one who's messing with you. If it was me, you would know. I am telling you, I am not the one. But I'm giving you one chance, one last chance before all this goes down. And he goes into the ring and get a mud hole stuck in his ass. And then we get Uncle Howdy, a guy that I have a theory, and I'm going to say it in a moment, of who it is. But someone comes out, LA Knight is shocked. He sees the montage from the Titantron. Then he sees someone comes out from the smoke, and it's not Bray. Bray is still in the ring. Bray's going like this, going, and he's smiling and laughing, and LA jumps out of the ring. And the kicker for me is LA is not the bad guy here. He's getting his ass whooped by Bray. It's supposedly. And when he starts nailing Bray, everyone's cheering for Bray and booing LA Knight. He's not the bad guy in this, but he's getting the boos. So when we see Howdy, where are they going to go with this? Is LA Knight the bad guy in this? Because he wasn't the one that started it. He wasn't. Bray approached him in the very beginning, talking to him about, I know what you need. And he says, look, why don't you go and play in that little place and do whatever you do with your dolls? And he gets nailed. It's not his direct fault. And now he's dealing not only with a Bray, but a Howdy, Uncle Howdy, who I believe, and I am speculating. This is my speculation. I don't know if anybody else got it. I'm sure someone else has probably thought of this, and probably as just Alex, Solomonster, and JD, who is probably already doing his business now, they may think this themselves. I think that is Bo Dallas. I truly believe, and that would be the most best way to make Bray Wyatt mean really a lot, to have one person by his side, just one. Someone has not been seen for at least a year, easily from WWE. Got fired after he had a problem with substance abuse, drinking, I believe. And that is brother Bo Dallas. I don't know if he's still wrestling. There's nothing on the wiki that says that he's quit wrestling. He just hasn't been seen since, I think, May or June of 2021. So he's been gone. He got released. So if he's been brought back without anyone knowing, and it's Howdy he's taken up the position of, I promise you everyone will explode when they see the Rotunda brothers together. I really believe this. Bray and his brother Bo together on the same page, what many people really believe should have been true to the Wyatt family because they're actual brothers. That's what I think. Now, let me see, anything else? The last thing we're going to talk about, I'm sure I'm missing something, is Roman Reigns. The Roman Reigns segment where Jimmy and Jay are with their Uso, who is not official yet, of Sami Zayn. Told them last week, get cleaned up, get shaven, get looking good, boy. They're telling him looking good in his vest. Not his blazer, not his vest. And he's all nervous about what's going on. He doesn't know what's happening. He thinks he might become from the honorary Uso to be a real Uso. And that's what Jay and Jimmy are thinking. He goes to get some water to try and calm down. And Jay's telling him, look, everything's going to be great. But Jimmy says, dude, maybe you shouldn't have done this. You're heating them up. You don't know if this is going to be it. You don't know if he's going to be it right now. And Jay's saying, he's going to do it. And Jay later, well, not Jay, Jimmy later, I take that back. Jimmy later goes to Roman, sits right by him and says, dog, today, if things are supposed to be good, if our boy Sammy's going to be not from honorary to real, it is what I want. He's my dog. He's my boy. I love him. But I love my family more. And if you're worried about him dealing with Kevin and the family, I understand. But that's my boy. You got to do what you got to do. But I just want to say it. So Adam Pearce was called into the room and was told, I want a match at the end of the year. And what was it? December 30th. With Kevin getting whoever he wants and me and Sammy. Make it happen. So that's what we got. And then by the time they get to the ring, and when you see Sammy so excited that he thinks he's going to be a real Uso, he ain't getting it. Because Roman says, everything's great. I'm proud of everybody because of War Games. Even gives a hug to a honorary Uso give him a little pause before he gave him the hug. He says, we got a problem, and that's your former boy. We got to get this done. He can't leave you alone. He's obsessed with you. So I already made things arranged. We're going to handle our business. December 30th, we're having our match with him. Whoever he can find and us. And this is where it gets interesting. Because the Honoré Uce speaks and says, you're right. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's lost his mind. He's always betrays everyone, even though I've been his only friend. And that's when they zoomed in to Roman Reigns. He said, my bad. We're not friends. I'm just saying. I'm sorry I misspoke. Slip of the tongue. But we'll handle him. But as he's talking, you get John Cena on screen. Looking small. Guys, if you have not noticed Jonathan Anthony Cena, he used to be like this in the screen. Now I look like this. That's what happens when you're not wrestling every day and having to pump a lot of like this to be in ring shape. He's not like that anymore. He is shrunk. I'm sorry. I've never been having a major problem with Cena, even though I felt like he overexposed. But his physique is one of the best in the business. But now you can see what happens when you don't wrestle all the time and you're not in ring shape. You shrink. He's still muscled out. He's still cock diesel. He still looks great for being in movies and photo shoots, just like The Rock is. But he's not like this. He's like this. You can't hide it. Now, was his segment good? No, it looked cringe. It was cringe. It was. It wasn't Pac. It was cringe. And just in case someone said, wait, you said what? I said Pac. That means cool. You know what cringe is, but Pac means cool. Mostly that comes from California. They don't usually say it here in New York. But since I watch Twitch so much, and most of the Twitch streamers, not all of them, but most use a lot of slang that comes from Cali. I'm sure that's from Cal. Pog's got to be from Cal. It had to come from there. But I think the reason I did that is because it was just cringe. He didn't have to go that far. He just had to say that he was called by Kevin, that he was asked for his help, and that also he's got no match. And every year for 20 years, he's always had a match anytime during the year. Always, every year, he has a match at the end or at the beginning or the middle. He's always got a match. And he's got none. So I will be there on the 30th. And you will have your match. That's it. Now, was this 2 good shows? I will tell you this. I'm not sure about Rampage because I don't know where they're going to go with most of this. And I really do believe Moxley is overexposed. And he's bleeding so much. If he's purposely bleeding, that means he's compensating because he's been there all the time to try and make it interesting. He's overexposed. He's trying so hard to make himself interesting. That bleeding that should be rare and important with relevance. If you don't know what relevance means, you must be relevant in the wrestling business. It does not mean you have to be at the top of the card. You don't always got to be here. Remember, some of the people who have been here and here are the most remembered. Steamboat is still remembered for who he is. Shawn Michaels, yes, did reach up here, but before he did, he was here, and people still loved his ass. Chris, the same thing. People adored and loved him even if they were not here. Eventually they did get there, but you don't need it to be relevant. And I don't believe that. When it comes to Smackdown, I did like the Gunther and Ricochet match. And I almost forgot. I haven't forgotten it. I forgot. I know there's another match here, but I had to say everything else until I forgot it. The triple threat. The El Gato, El Fantasma, Hit Row, and the Viking Raiders. This isn't about Hit Row. Well, this isn't about Hit Row. I'm saying it now. This is not about Hit Row. This isn't about the Viking Raiders. This isn't about El Gato del Fantasma and El Toro and Wild And I want to make it clear, I don't hate Adonis. I actually like Adonis from Hit Row. I like B-Fab. But this is going to be about Top Dollar and looking so fucking stupid. That match was supposed to be for the #1 contendership to go after the Usos. Did I believe Delgado, El Fantasma with El Toro and Wild look good? Yes, it looked very good. But I didn't know if they were going to be the ones going to get it. I did believe the Viking Raiders might get it. And I could not believe Hit Row would get it. But they did get it. But here's the thing. I still don't get Top Dollar. I don't. Angelo Dawkins is a better big man than he is. And you want to know how better he is? Because Top Dollar decided at one point when most of the guys were outside the ring that he was going to do a helo, jump over the top turn rope, and then land on their asses. But you know what he did? He didn't even make it past the top turn rope. He got his belly caught on here. He did a forward flip, and he hurt himself. He hurt his left knee and his left ass leg. And when he crawled back into the ring, and I believe it was Wild that he got into the ring, I believe it was Wild who got into the ring. He tried to grab Wild, tried to hold him so he can hold him right for Adonis to do his business. He can barely hold him up because he hurt his damn ass. I don't like seeing anyone get hurt in the ring, even if I don't like them or if I like them. But I don't get Top Dollar. He just doesn't feel legitimate. It doesn't mean he's a bad guy in real life. I want to make it clear. He's probably a great guy to know. Of course, I'm here. He's here. I'm like a little kid. I'd be like his 5-year-old kid because he's way taller than me. But the point is, it's not about his actual personality. It's not about if he's a bad guy, a good guy in real life. He's probably a wonderful guy. I would probably want to be friends with him. But as a pro wrestler right now, his character sucks. And then his ring work is not that great. Particularly that he decided he wanted to do a damn helo over the top turn rope. And when you actually hear a Michael Cole says, well, he tried to do a stunt jumping out of the ring. That's one of the reasons why I shouldn't do it. That is embarrassing. It was not Stu Barrett doing that. That's Michael Cole, the true voice of WWE. You don't want him saying that. That's bad. And he did the most stupidest thing. If he had practiced it beforehand, I don't know what he did wrong. If he never practiced and he was caught up in the moment, that was the most stupidest thing he could have done. If he hasn't messed his leg up, where if he did, he just ruined the moment for Hit Row, for Adonis and B-Fab, because if he hurt his knee and his leg because of that stupid flip over on the top turn rope and whacked his leg straight onto the ring skirt that's on steel, that's his fault. That's his fault for doing something that was dumb that he knows he never usually does. He kind of like, if anybody's ever has seen the Slug Daddy and him laughing his ass off because of what happened to Sid Vicious or Sid Justice jumping off the top turn rope because he was told by John Laurinaitis in WCW that you need to expand your repertoire. That is another one right there. I'm just saying. Hope you enjoyed this. This thing's almost 29 minutes. Damn it. I didn't want to go this long. Peace.